here's how it translates to the business world and to life and to being a leader. There are certain principles that you have. There likely is not a lot of principles that are as solid as high ground. EF Battlefield, there was several locations where you could get on the high ground, literally. And that high ground has multiple meanings. One is, hey, I'm above, I'm in a visual place where I can see more, right? That's the definition of detachment. I'm in an elevated position. I'm not receiving freaking musket fire. I mean, this is before smokeless ammo, so you had, or smokeless gunpowder, so you had the battlefields filled with smoke. You can't see anything down there. So you get into the high ground, into the elevated position. When you're on the Gettysburg battlefield and you get up to these elevated positions on Little Round Top, and you look and you can see almost the entire battlefield. And you think, wow, imagine trying, and then 10 minutes later you're on the ground and you think to yourself, how could I possibly direct a battle when I can see 100 yards to this next tree line and that's it? Yeah. And meanwhile, 10 minutes of walking up the hill and you can see the entire battlefield. That is detachment. And when you can detach from your emotions, it gives you that much power. When you can detach from your ego, it gives you that much power. When you can see from a different perspective, it gives you that much power. And yet we fail to do it all the time. The other part of the high ground that's important to remember is the high ground on the battlefield is something that you do not want to give up. It gives you such a clear advantage that when you give it up, you're giving it up at your peril. Especially if you allow the other person to get the high ground. But even if you don't do that, if there is someone in the low ground and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go down there with them, at a minimum, you've given up at your advantage. At worst case, they've taken the high ground and now you're completely destroyed. So how does that translate to the business world? Well, here's how it translates to the business world and to life and to being a leader. There are certain principles that you have. And I shouldn't say there shouldn't be a lot. There likely is not a lot of principles that are as solid as high ground. In other words, you know what? There is a line that I am not crossing. I will not give up my high ground. So if you want me to, overcharge a client, we're not doing that. That is not happening. If you want me, whatever, think whatever immoral, illegal, unethical thing. And you could also say anything that you don't want to print in the newspaper about what the company did, right? What my company did. So there you go. Those are things. And look, we've been working together for quite a while now. What percentage of things am I rigid and unmovable on, right? There's a very tiny percentage. That's what the high ground is. The high ground is, look, these are things that I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to do it. And so then you take those things that you're not going to give up, and maybe those are principles. Maybe those are operating functions that you have that you're just not going to change because it's a principle that you have to adhere to. And then you get into the ethical high ground, which is, now you want me to do something, or you do something that you shouldn't do.